What's going on, guys? This is your Prince, and I've decided to try kind of a project. I'm going to plant a total of 4 varieties of plants here, 3 of each variety, and I'm going to track them for you. Or not for you necessarily, but for myself at least, so that I can know how they perform for me over 2016, and perhaps there's some of you that could be interested in how they turned out for me. So I'm gonna give this a go here. So I have this labeled. This BSS, that is black seeded Simpson lettuce. I'm gonna try planting that. I'm gonna put it in now, of course, in these things, and I'll transplant it outside before it gets very cold. I'm sorry, before it gets very warm. Hopefully I can have a harvest on that, and it says 45 days to maturity. I've never once had a seed packet come true, so I'm guessing in about 2 months I'll have some of that. By the way, today is January 21st, 2016, so that's when I'm starting this whole thing. And then here, of course, purple tomatillo. I'm probably saying that wrong. I may also be erring in that I am planting it so early, but we're going to see. Most people say that you should not try to transplant tomatillo, but I'm going to pretty much have to. I didn't really get much of a harvest on the plants that I planted this past year, and I did have fruits. They didn't get to maturity, so I don't know, I'm going to give it a shot at again this year. Yeah, they were cool to grow. Also, habanero peppers, because I'm all about hot peppers, and now is the time. It doesn't matter where you are. Start your peppers now, especially if you're going to be growing them in a pot. Just give them lots of space after you get them out of a starter pot if you're going to put them in one. And then we have Serrano chilies also. Also worth note is that the age on these packs, none of these are new. The lettuce, you can see there, sell by 11.14, and then tomatillo sell by 12.15. Habanero sell by 12.15, and Serrano 12.15 also. But we're going to be rebellious. We're going to not follow those dates, and we're going to plant these things anyways. The lettuce seeds are the tiniest, and they're the ones I have the most concern about because they come inside of this little foil packet. Part of this is as an example of the lack of need to buy new seeds every year, because you don't need to buy new seeds every year, no matter what it says on the back of the package. You don't need to buy new seeds every year. But you can see here we've got 3 lovely lettuce seeds. They don't need to be buried very deep, so I'm going to go plop one there, and one there. I know you can't see that perhaps, but I can hardly see that, so I'm going to just kick this guy over here. These are not supposed to be buried very deep, so I'm just going to very lightly tap that in. Also, what I'm doing this year that I normally don't do because I just haven't had success with it in the past is I'm using an actual seed starter mix, and I've never had luck with them. They're full of peat moss, and I think that's vermiculite. I'm not really sure, but I don't know. I've just never really had much luck with them, so I generally do not use them, but I'm going to give them a shot this year. I've packed pretty tightly in there versus what I normally would. The soil or soil-less mix. So it's still spongy, but my hope is that it'll restrict the roots a little bit, but not really hinder it so that they're not growing too out of control before I can get them transplanted. But next, purple tomatillo. They need about the same, actually, in terms of how deep they're planted. So what I'm going to do is they all need to be planted about the same, which is about 1/4 of an inch. So I'm just going to go ahead and dig my divots for all of my seeds I'm going to be planting here. Alright, so 1/4 of an inch is what they're supposed to be. And after I do that, I'm going to drop seeds in, and then we'll cover them up with a tiny bit too. Don't want to get them too buried, but you know, they need to be buried. Drop. And drop. Purple tomatillo is done. Alright. So habanero is next. Got to actually open this packet, so just gonna. Oh man, I hate opening seed packets. They're the most difficult things to open, and I hate when the paper tears because I like nice crisp edges. It's really the whole thing. Anyways, habanero. I'm gonna shake a couple seeds out into my hand. I'm gonna do that off camera because that's just the way that works best for me. And when choosing seeds, I mean the actual seeds that I'm selecting here, I'm going for just the ones that look least like, I guess, deformed or different than the cat's jumping into a pile of change over there like Scrooge McDuck. But there you go, those are the habanero, so we're gonna just drop those guys in there. Now with peppers too, for those of you who are watching this for informational purposes, peppers take a really long time to germinate. The hotter the pepper, the longer it takes to germinate. In my experience, habaneros are pretty hot. It is going to take a little while for those to germinate. And it's all good, but that's kind of the reason that it's January and here I am starting my seeds for them, because it's just kind of something that you need to do if you want to get a good harvest. And I mean, I've started peppers as late as like probably April or May, and I've got a pretty good harvest. But then again, we normally get 2 pretty complete harvests on peppers here in South Carolina. But there we go. We got the Serranos coming up next. I mean, these are just seed packets I've accumulated over the years. Not too many years, just a couple of years overall. And some things really can't be planted after the date on the package. They only hang out for a year. When I say hang out, I mean survive for a year. Okay. But yeah, peppers, they take so long to germinate that no matter where you live, you can probably go ahead and get your peppers started. And you'll be plenty happy. But that's what we're dealing with here. And yeah, go ahead and get your peppers started because, I mean, shoot, 2 months before your last frost is you know, reasonable for starting peppers. I'm just gonna shake some starter mix here. The problem with starter mix is that it doesn't take water very well, so we will use warm water when we're spraying it. We'll get to that here shortly. Whoa! Probably didn't need to put that much on the lettuce. And yeah, everybody's got their own little ways for doing everything when it comes to planting, gardening, that sort of stuff. So if you don't want to do it my way, you don't have to do it my way. Actually, if you know a better way, let me know. It's just some experimental stuff. That's why I'm using these older seeds. But I did figure it would be fun for you guys to, you know, if you care to, watch the journey of these seeds over the next year. And spray them with warm water. Also with peppers, they germinate a lot faster if you can get them warm. So if you want to use a seed heat mat, they'll come out a lot faster. I have a little grow lamp that I'm going to start mine under. I have a little tray of some other stuff already started. We're just going to soak this, not soak it, but moisten it. That there's moist starter mix underneath it, it's going to make it a lot easier. But getting starter mix to get wet and keep it is a pain in the butt. It's like peat moss. You use a lot of peat moss. But that's pretty much it. I've got a little humidity dome, and be right back. I can go grab that thing. Got this little, whoa, phone's dying over here. Got this little humidity dome that goes on top. I'm just gonna set that someplace. I'll leave it like this for a couple of days. Probably not underneath the grow light, just in a kind of sunny spot. I don't think any of these require light to germinate, so you know, I'm not incredibly concerned about it. But I don't know. It's gonna be cool. I'm gonna be doing a lot of stuff this year when it comes to my garden and just, you know, gardening in general. Those are a little display of what we just planted there. But I don't know. I'm gonna give it a shot. The things that I'm doing differently this time that I normally don't do is, for one, like I said, I'm using the starter mix. I've never in my life had success with starter mix, but we'll see if I do this time or if I don't this time. And I am, well, I mean, really, honestly, the way that I'm starting them, I didn't start too many seeds in this sort of this size thing last year. I used much larger starter flats, all actually. So I believe they had 72 planting sites in each one of them, and that was just too big for what I'm doing here. I do not have that space right now, so just gonna start with this. Anyways, that's all I got. I feel like I've ran out of things to talk about. We're gonna watch these things grow up, and we'll if we have a good harvest, maybe if you guys want, I'll send you some seeds from these, and you can grow them from there too. But anyways, thanks for